I think I messed up. Welcome to Unexpected Marriage, Haitong's bold move. Today we're diving into the story of Haitong and John Yin. On the day of the blind date, I got married to a complete stranger. I thought we would just live a respectful and ordinary life after marriage, but I never expected my husband would turn out to be so clingy. What surprised me most was that every time I faced difficulties, he would always step in and solve all the problems. Whenever I asked him about it, he just smiled and said he was lucky. Until one day, I watched an interview with the richest man in Dongguan, famous for spoiling his wife. To my shock, the richest man looked exactly like my husband. He spoiled his wife like crazy, and the one he spoiled was me. The weather in Dongguan in October is still extremely hot, and only in the mornings and evenings can one feel a hint of the coolness of late autumn. I got up early in the morning, prepared breakfast for my sister's family of 3, then put my household registration booklet in my pocket and left quietly. From now on, we will go AA, whether it's living expenses or mortgage and car loans, we have to go AA. Even if your sister lives in our house, she has to pay half. What's the point of giving her 2,000 yuan a month? It's no different from eating and living for free. This is what I heard my brother-in-law say when my sister and he had an argument last night. I have to move out of my sister's house. But my sister must rest assured, there's only one way out, getting married. I wanted to get married in a short time and didn't even have a boyfriend. So I decided to agree to Grandma Jean's request and marry the old lady I accidentally saved, John Yin, the eldest grandson of Grandma Jean who had a difficult marriage. "20 minutes later, I got off the car in front of the Civil Affairs Bureau, Haitong. As soon as I got off the car, I heard a familiar voice calling out. It was Grandma Jean. Grandma Jean. I walked over quickly and saw a tall and cold man standing next to Grandma Jean. He must be John Yin, the man I was going to get the marriage certificate with. As I got closer, I could see John Yin's appearance clearly and was surprised. According to Grandma Jean, her eldest grandson, Zhang Yinian, is already 30 years old and can't even find a girlfriend, which makes the old lady very worried. I always thought that he was a very ugly man. After all, I heard that he is a senior executive of a large group and has a high income. Only when we met did I realize that I had misunderstood. Because John Yin was very handsome and had a cold temperament, he stood next to Grandma Jean with a gloomy face, looking particularly cool, and the aura he exuded was that strangers should stay away. My eyes shifted slightly to see a black commercial vehicle parked not far away. The logo of the vehicle was Dongfeng, and it was not a luxury car worth millions. This made me feel that John Yin and I were not far away. I, along with my old classmate and friend, opened a bookstore at the gate of Wancheng Middle School. In my spare time, I also weave some small gadgets and sell them online, and the sales are pretty good. At the end of the month, my monthly income can be stabilized at more than 20,000 yuan. In Dongguan City, a monthly income of 20,000 yuan can be considered a white-collar worker. So every month, I give my sister 5,000 yuan for living expenses. But my brother-in-law didn't know my income because I asked my sister to save 3,000 yuan and only told my brother-in-law that I had 2,000 yuan. Haitong. This is my eldest grandson, John Yin, a 30-year-old bachelor who is still unsaleable. Although he is a little cold, he is still very considerate and caring. You saved my life, and we have known each other for 3 months. Believe me, I will not sell a bad grandson to you. After listening to his grandmother's description of him, John Yin glanced at me with a deep and cold look, but did not say a word. Maybe it's because he's been disliked by his grandma so many times that he's developed immunity to it. I knew that Grandma Jean had 3 sons, and each of them gave her 3 grandsons. She had a total of 9 grandsons, but no granddaughter, so she treated me as her granddaughter. My face turned slightly red, but I still extended my right hand to John Yin and introduced myself with a smile. "Hello, Mr. Jean. I am Haitong." John Yin's sharp eyes slashed me from head to toe, and then from toe to head. After his grandmother's light cough reminded him, he stretched out his right hand to shake hands with me, and his voice was also low and cold. At the marriage registration office, John Yin reminded me, "Miss Hai, if you don't want to, you can still regret it. Don't care what my grandmother says. Marriage is a big deal and can't be taken lightly." He hoped I would change my mind, because he didn't want to marry a woman he had only met once. After I received the marriage certificate from the staff, Zhang Yin took out a bunch of keys that he had prepared long ago from his trouser pocket, handed them to me, and said, "The house I bought is in Mingwan Garden. I heard from Grandma that you opened a bookstore in front of Guancheng Middle School. My house is not far from yours. If you take the bus, it will take more than 10 minutes to get there. Do you have a driver's license? If you have a driver's license, you can buy a car. I can help you with the down payment, and you can pay the car loan every month. Having a car will make it more convenient for you to get off work. I'm very busy at work. I leave early and come back late. Sometimes I go on business trips. Just take care of yourself and don't worry about me. I will transfer the household expenses to you after I get paid on the 10th of each month. Also, in order to avoid trouble, we will keep our marriage secret for the time being." Zhang Yin was probably used to giving orders to others in the company, so he spoke a series of words without even waiting for me to speak. I was willing to get married quickly because I didn't want my sister to quarrel with my brother-in-law over me anymore. I needed to get married and move out of my sister's house so that my sister could feel at ease and live together. Zhang Yin took the initiative to give me the key to the house, and I took it without hesitation. I have a driver's license, so I don't need to buy a car for now. I usually ride an electric scooter to and from get off work. I just got a new battery for the scooter. It would be a shame if I didn't ride it anymore. Mr. Jean, do we need to go Dutch? My sister and brother-in-law have an emotional foundation, and my brother-in-law always suggests going AA. He always feels that my sister is taking advantage of him. God knows how much time it takes to take care of a child, buy groceries, cook, and clean the house. Men who have never experienced this always think that their wives just take care of the children and cook at home, which is very easy. Zhang Yin and I had a flash marriage and had never even met each other before today, so going AA would make me feel more comfortable. Since I married you, I can support you and our family. There is no need for the AA system. Then do as you say. I wouldn't just take advantage without giving anything in return. I moved into his house and bought whatever the family needed out of my own pocket. After all, you save on rent. Only by giving to each other and understanding each other can life go on. Zhang Yin raised his right hand again to check the time, then said to me, "I'm very busy and have to go back to the company first. You can borrow my car to drive home temporarily, or you can take a taxi back and I'll reimburse you for the fare. I'll send my grandma to my brother. By the way, let's add each other on WeChat so that we can keep in touch." I took out my phone, added Zhang Yin on WeChat and said, "I'll take a taxi myself, you go do your thing. Okay, I'll contact you if you have anything." Before leaving, Zhang Yin gave me 200 yuan for a taxi. I really didn't want to take it, but when he glared at me, I just subconsciously accepted the money. The young couple, who had just received their marriage certificate, didn't even walk out of the Civil Affairs Bureau together. Zhang Yin came out first. He just left and went straight back to the car. When Grandma Zhang saw that only her grandson came out, she asked suspiciously, "You two went in together. Why didn't you come out together? Did you regret it? Or did Haitong regret it?" Zhang Yin replied, "I got the certificate. I'm very busy at work and have to go back for a meeting." I gave her 200 yuan and asked her to take a taxi back. "Grandma, I'll take you to the next intersection and let the bodyguard take you home." But Grandma Zhang wouldn't have it. "No matter how busy you are, you can't leave Haitong alone. Don't drive yet. Wait for Haitong to come out, send her home, and then go to work." Grandma Zhang was about to get out of the car, but the door was locked. Zhang Yin insisted, "Grandma, I've already promised you to marry her. Don't worry about other things. Since I'm the one getting married, I have the final say in the future. Also, I have to slowly investigate her character. Until she passes the test, I won't become a real couple with her." Grandma Zhang argued, "Men in our Zhang family never get divorced." Zhang Yin just said, "That depends on whether the wife my grandma chooses for me is worth my life's dedication." Zhang Yin started the car as he spoke. Grandma Zhang scolded him, "You little brat, how can you be a husband? You just got the marriage certificate and you left your new wife and drove away by yourself." Grandma Zhang knew that the limit of her eldest grandson's concession was to get a marriage certificate with me. For the rest, he insisted on his principles, and she really couldn't do anything to him. If she pushed him too far, this guy would make me a widow for the rest of my life, and she would be harming me. Zhang Yin let his grandmother scold him. If I am really a good person, he will give me happiness. If I lied to her grandmother and my usual kindness is just pretend, he will divorce me after half a year. Anyway, he will not touch me, and since we're in a secret marriage, I could still marry a good family after the divorce. The car drove for about 10 minutes and then stopped at an intersection. There were several luxury cars parked there, one of which was a Rolls-Royce. Zhang Yin parked the car on the side of the road, got out, threw the car keys to a waiting bodyguard and ordered, "Send the old lady back." Grandma Zhang protested, "I'm not going back. I want to live with you and stay with my granddaughter-in-law." But she was fighting a losing battle against her grandson. He had already gotten into the Rolls-Royce and turned a deaf ear to her protests. She could only watch her eldest grandson drive away in a luxury car. Zhang Yin is actually the prince of Dongguan's business community and the head of Dongguan's richest family, with a net worth of hundreds of billions. Grandma Zhang shouted after him, "You bastard, you are so cruel." Grandma Zhang scolded her grandson and muttered maliciously, "It would be great if one day you fall in love with Haitong so much that I can wait for you to slap your face." No matter how angry she was, she couldn't call her eldest grandson back, so Grandma Zhang hurriedly called me, while I was already on my way home in a taxi. Grandma Zhang said, "Haitong, Ayin is really too busy with work. Please don't bother with him." I touched the marriage certificate that I had stuffed in my trouser pocket and said, "Grandma Zhang, I understand. I don't mind. You don't have to feel guilty." He gave me the taxi fare. "I'm already on my way home." Grandma Zhang replied, "You've already got the marriage certificate, but you still call me Grandma Zhang." I was stunned for a moment, then changed my words and called her Grandma. The old woman agreed happily. Grandma Zhang said, "Haitong, we are a family from now on. If Ayin dares to bully you, tell Grandma and I will teach him a lesson for you." After so much difficulty in finding a wife for her grandson, the old woman will not allow her grandson to bully me. "Grandma, I will." Honestly, I just responded casually. Even though Grandma Zhang treats me very well, Zhang Yin is her biological grandson and I am just his grandson's wife. If the two of us ever have a conflict, will the Zhang family really side with me? I don't believe it. It's just like my sister's in-laws. Before they got married, they treated my sister so well in fact that even their own daughters were jealous. But after the marriage, their attitude changed. Every time my sister and her husband had a conflict, her mother-in-law would always blame my sister for not being a good wife. So, someone else's son is always their own, but the daughter-in-law is always an outsider. You are going to work, so I won't bother you anymore. I'll ask Yin to pick you up and take you home for dinner in the evening. Grandma, I close the store very late at night, so it may not be convenient to go back for dinner. Is it okay on the weekend? Schools are closed on weekends, and these bookstores really rely on the schools for their survival. When schools are closed, business is slow, and sometimes they might even close for the day, so that's when I have time." "That's fine." Grandma Zhang said that so considerately. "Let's talk about it this weekend. You go ahead and get busy." She took the initiative to end the call. I didn't go to the store immediately, but instead sent a message to my good friend Shen Xiaojun, letting her know I'd rush back to the store before the students finished school at noon. After completing this major event in my life, I needed to go back and say hello to my sister, and then move out of her house. About 10 minutes later, I returned to my sister's home. My brother-in-law had already gone to work, and my sister was hanging clothes on the balcony. When she saw me come back, she asked with concern, "Tong Tong, why are you back? Aren't you going to open the store today? I'll go there at noon. I'm busy this afternoon. Yang Yang isn't awake yet? Zhou Yang is my nephew. He's just 2 years old and honestly, he's at a really naughty age." "Not yet. If he wakes up, the house won't be so quiet." I went to help my sister hang out the clothes and asked her about what happened last night. "Tong Tong, your brother-in-law doesn't want to drive you away. He's just under too much pressure and I don't have any income." Hailing explained for her husband. I didn't say anything, but deep down, I knew her husband was just trying to drive me away in disguise. My brother-in-law is a manager at a company, and his income is pretty high. My sister was his college classmate, and they worked in the same company before getting married. After they got married, he told my sister affectionately, "I will support you in the future. You can rest at home and prepare for pregnancy." My sister felt she had married the right person, so she quit her job and became a housewife. A year after the marriage, she gave birth to a big, healthy boy. Taking care of the baby and the family kept her so busy that she had no time to dress up, maintain her figure, or even think about returning to work. In the blink of an eye, 3 years have passed, and my sister has changed from a young and beautiful lady to a tired housewife who dresses casually and doesn't like to dress up anymore. I'm 5 years younger than my sister. When I was 10, our parents died in a car accident. Since then, we've depended on each other. The compensation money from our parents' accident was supposed to be enough for both of us to finish school, but our grandparents and grandparents-in-law took part of it. The two of us saved the rest by living really frugally, and somehow we both managed to graduate from college. Because the house in our hometown was occupied by our grandparents, my sister and I had to rent outside. It wasn't until my sister got married that we stopped renting. My sister has always loved me very much. Before she got married, she told her husband that I would live with them after marriage. He agreed readily, but now he's starting to dislike me living here. Sister, I'm sorry. I'm a burden to you. No, Tong Tong, don't think like that. Mom and Dad passed away early, and I am your support. I was really moved. When I was a child, my sister was my support. Now I want to be her support. After a moment of silence, I took out my marriage certificate, handed it to her, and said, Sister, I'm married. I just got the marriage certificate and came back to tell you. I'll pack up and move out later. Are you married? Hailing's voice suddenly rose several decibels. It really wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it a scream. She looked at me in disbelief and quickly snatched the marriage certificate. When she opened it, it was indeed a wedding photo of me and a strange man. Haitong, what's going on? Don't you even have a boyfriend? The man on the marriage certificate was good-looking, but his eyes were a bit too sharp and his expression was too cold. It was obvious at first glance that he was not someone who was easy to get along with. I had already thought of what to say on the way back, so I replied right away. Sister, I already have a boyfriend. His name is Zhang Yin, but he is too busy with work and has never found time to come back with me to see you. He proposed to me, and I agreed. Then, we went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a marriage certificate. Sister, he is a very good man and treats me very well. Don't worry, I will be happy after marriage. Hailing still couldn't accept it. I've never told her I had a boyfriend, and now I was saying I was married. Thinking about the quarrel between her and her husband last night, which I overheard, Hailing's eyes turned red with pain, and she said to me, Tong Tong, I told your brother-in-law that you gave me the food money so you can stay here without worry. There's no need to rush to get married or move out. She guessed that I hadn't known my boyfriend for long. Otherwise, I would have told her. We suddenly got married today because her husband disliked me living here for too long. In order not to put her marriage in trouble, I hurried to get married. Haitong smiled and comforted her sister. Sister, it really has nothing to do with you. Zhang Yin and I have a good relationship and I will really be happy. Sister, you should be happy for me. Hailing kept crying. I hugged her helplessly. After she finished crying and calmed down, I promised her, Sister, I will come back to see you often. Zhang Yin bought a house in Mingyuan Garden, which is not far from you. It only takes 10 minutes for me to ride my electric bike. Sister, I'm sorry, I'm a burden to you. No, Tong Tong, don't think like that. Mom and Dad passed away early and I am your support. I was really moved. When I was a child, my sister was my support. Now I want to be her support. After a moment of silence, I took out my marriage certificate, handed it to her and said, Sister, I'm married. I just got the marriage certificate and came back to tell you. I'll pack up and move out later. Are you married? Hailing's voice suddenly rose several decibels. It really wouldn't be an exaggeration to call it a scream. She looked at me in disbelief and quickly snatched the marriage certificate. When she opened it, it was indeed a wedding photo of me and a strange man. Haitong, what's going on? Don't you even have a boyfriend? The man on the marriage certificate was good-looking, but his eyes were a bit too sharp, and his expression was too cold. It was obvious at first glance that he was not someone who was easy to get along with. I had already thought of what to say on the way back, so I replied right away. Sister, I already have a boyfriend. His name is Zhang Yin, but he is too busy with work and has never found time to come back with me to see you. He proposed to me and I agreed. Then we went to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get a marriage certificate. Sister, he is a very good man and treats me very well. Don't worry, I will be happy after marriage. Hailing still couldn't accept it. I've never told her I had a boyfriend, and now I was saying I was married. Thinking about the quarrel between her and her husband last night, which I overheard, Hailing's eyes turned red with pain, and she said to me, Tong Tong, I told your brother-in-law that you gave me the food money so you can stay here without worry. There's no need to rush to get married or move out. She guessed that I hadn't known my boyfriend for long, otherwise I would have told her. We suddenly got married today because her husband disliked me living here for too long. In order not to put her marriage in trouble, I hurried to get married. Haitong smiled and comforted her sister. Sister, it really has nothing to do with you. John Yin and I have a good relationship and I will really be happy. Sister, you should be happy for me. Hai Ling kept crying. I hugged her helplessly. After she finished crying and calmed down, I promised her, Sister, I will come back to see you often. John Yin bought a house in Mingyan Garden, which is not far from you. It only takes 10 minutes for me to ride my electric bike. What's the situation at his home? Now that everything was done, Hai Ling could only accept it and asked about my brother-in-law's family. To be honest, I didn't know much about the Zhan family. Even though I had known Grandma Zhan for about 3 months, I usually didn't ask about their family affairs. When Grandma Zhan talked to me, I just listened. All I really knew was that Zhan Yin was the eldest in the family and had a bunch of younger brothers, including a cousin. Zhan Yin works for one of the largest companies in Dongguan City. He owns a car and a house, so his family conditions should not be too bad. I told my sister what I knew. When she heard that my brother-in-law bought the house in full, Hai Ling said, "That's his premarital property. Tong Tong, can you ask him to add your name to the property certificate?" My sister's name was added to the property certificate, so at least there is some protection. To read more of the book, please check the link in the comment and remember to subscribe to read our next book recommendation.